So what now?
I just go through my heart, and I just feel like that when we were talking together with the new thing, I feel like that I should actually say it and get out of it, so I don't have to have no more problems with it. And I feel like when Kayla said that thing, it made me feel like I need to say it.
Right. So do you feel like your weight's off your shoulders now that you got to say how you feel? Or do you still have any more feelings you need to tell Kayla?
Do a song.
Okay, just a minute. Kayla? Kayla,
Yeah.
how do you feel about the pen, the communication using the pen to hold to be heard and where nobody can interrupt you while you're talking? How do you feel like that works?
I feel like it works because there's a lot of people that I know, no offense, but all of us are stubborn.
Serious.
I'm telling me. I'm stubborn. Everybody in here is stubborn where they want it.
That's right. A lot of people are stubborn, but
It helps.
how does the pen help with stubbornness though?
Where you want to have an urge to talk, but then when you look at the pen, you're like, no, I cannot talk.
That's right.
That's me. My mind is like.
So basically, what you're saying is that pen is a reminder that you have to listen, even though you want to defend yourself at that moment, or you want to correct them as something you feel is wrong.
Yeah.
But once you hear the whole, everything in a whole, it makes sense. And that's the one thing that we don't do. Quit coloring your face. We don't listen to what somebody's saying as a whole. We listen to part of it, and then we jump into it in the middle of it, right?
Yeah.
So we never really get to where they're trying to get to.
And we always say interrupt, which we're not supposed to.
Right.
Which is a sign of rudeness.
But we also, now what is the importance of putting the pen down? Autumn. Autumn, what is the importance of the game for say? When you put the pen down, what does that mean?
That means that it's the other person that takes the pen and talks.
So they can basically, it's their turn to actually say what they feel, either about what you said or about how they feel about something else, right? Corey?
I think the difference between me saying something and then giving you the pen, which would indicate that I want you to say something back, versus setting it down and the other person picking it up, is they have to make a choice when they want to respond.
That's true.
And that gives them a lot more power in the sense that they're not being forced to respond, but able to actually
more
decide,
like free will, though.
Decide to respond. And Kayla's absolutely right. We are all of us,
I'm 100%
very
stubborn.
stubborn. But here's the funny part about it is we're so stubborn that we want to be heard but not listen, that we get stubborn about listening because they have that pen. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to be stubborn and listen. So I think it's actually pretty awesome what you say with everybody being stubborn, because we are stubborn. Be careful with that, because you're going to hurt somebody.
Y'all calm down.
Please do not like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, because it's not nice, because if she did that to you, you might say, oh, my leg has been hurting all day.
Girl.
Girls, how'd y'all feel whenever y'all hugged each other?
Like that.
Did it feel good? Kayla,
Yes.
why did you go over there and hug your sister?
I felt like I should be comforting her because it was a sad moment. I feel like I should have been a bigger person and actually give her the love that she's been looking for.
Do you think being the bigger person sometimes holds you back from being able to feel your own emotions?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to move your hand please, ignore your own emotions.
I ignore my emotions a lot, so that way I can try to help others, but
what about you?
what about me?
You ignore your feelings to help others, and you probably succeed at that a lot. But what about you at the end of the day? You're drained, tired, exhausted.
That's where music comes in. I use music to cry to bed.
You use music to cry yourself to sleep?
Sometimes. but not all the time. It's very rare
Do you
nowadays.
just don't want to be seen crying?
I cry occasionally. Sometimes I hide it back, hold it back when I was over here. I felt like I should have been crying.
I felt like
But-
when you were over there
Wait, let her finish.
and talking.
Give her the pen.
We weren't doing the pin thing yet.
We're not on
still on
pause.
timeout.
Yeah, but y'all were interrupting each other. She wouldn't get through with what
So-
she was saying without.
I got the pen, everybody.
You were saying what now?
Alright, so I was saying, when I was over here, I was hiding my emotions, and I don't know why, but I know I'm holding them back, but I just don't feel like I should be crying, but then I also feel like I should be crying. And there's a part of me saying cry, but then there's also a part of me saying that it's a sign of weakness, like you said.
So,
So after that, I've been through a lot of crying, to where when I'm at school, when I cry, I've been told it's for being a crybaby. And that's where I started to feel like I shouldn't cry no more. And I start hiding them a lot more than I actually think I should be doing. I hide them to feel like I'm a more mature person. But when I get hurt physically, actually if someone tries to bend my arm, that's when I will actually cry. Not by my feelings, but physical, inside feelings. And my inside feelings is blocked. It's blocked out. I would only cry. I cry when it's more touching. I'm saying this right here was really touching to me.
physical.
Yeah, on the inside. But on the outside, I don't want to show it. More. Yes. Oh God! It's not cracked.
So basically, the thing is that when you hold back your feelings and you stop crying, and it's very understandable that people are calling you crybaby, that you would start trying to strengthen yourself up to where people would not perceive you that way. That way you would not be made in fun of. I forgot I had the hat on. But anyway, that's very understandable. But crying, you gotta think about it this way. Water, right? Water is like a cleansing. You go in the bathtub, you take a bath, and water washes off all the dirt. Autumn, please sit down. So your tears is like washing away all the painful emotions. So without crying, you don't ever get that out, and then you get toxic in your brain, a toxic overload of negative energy in your brain. Does that make sense to you? And the thing is, though, is that I have held back where I choose now to not cry around certain people, and only certain people I'll cry around. But now I've got to the point where I can't cry. And when it comes, I can feel it in my neck. I can feel that, kind of jerk reflex, trying to make me cry. But when I start feeling like I'm going to cry, I actually have a severe pain right here that hurts so bad that will actually make the tears come out. But then I also have to hold the tears back because it's so overwhelming, because I haven't let it out in so long that it's built up to the point where it is like climbing a very, very big mountain to get over. But my physical body can't handle the emotions because I'm so used to tensing up and holding them back. And I don't want you to become like that, because you'll end up having actual physical pain and will not be able to just cry. And it is good to cry. Now, hold on. We've got hands going up everywhere. Now, I'm going to let Corey say something real quick before I give it to you, okay?
Sorry. When I was your age, I was the same way. I cried and I let my emotions out.
and then I let my friends peer pressure me into thinking that it was something weak or big crybaby and things like that, to the point that I would get crying but still be angry enough to fight. But I stopped crying eventually, and I started holding it in. Didn't cry. And then it took things like my grandfather passing for me to cry. It took my grandfather dying and never being able to see him again to finally bring a tear. But there were times where I felt like crying and held it in, and I felt it as pain in my chest and pain in my throat. And even now, at nearly 40 years old, when me and your mom got together, I was like 35. And I could cry, but every time I do, it's like I'm choking and I can't even get a breath in. And the emotions overwhelm me to the point that it hurts to cry. That I get over emotional to where I can't breathe. It's hard for me to even breathe. So I really wouldn't want you to ever have to go through that, because it really, really sucks to hold back that emotion just because what your friends think. You know, that's really, truly a bad thing. Sorry.
Before I give this back to you, Kayla, and there was something else I forgot to say. Sorry about fixing my hair while I'm doing this, but it's been up all day, so it
Yeah.
probably looks crazy.
That's cute.
Anyways, my reason for not crying was different than yours. Or yours, Autumn. Or yours, Corey.
Yeah.
I had different reasons. Actually, there was several different ones. Now, when I was younger, I didn't cry because I was around a bunch of people that basically it was not, it would have showed a sign of weakness, and I couldn't show it. Not because they would make fun of me, but because I didn't want them to know that I was fragile, that I needed to be more tough than I was. I knew that I needed to present myself like that. So it was like a mask. But I still could cry. You know, I never really was embarrassed to cry. I just wouldn't let people see me cry. The worst part about it is that when you get older, a little bit older, and you really start feeling these emotions come over you like a flood, and you open yourself up to somebody and they hurt you when you're crying and you're pouring your heart out to them, and they say something to you during that time, it can scar you. And if that happens to you, and that's happened to me, then it will become where it's extremely painful to cry, or where you know you should cry, you should be crying, but it just doesn't happen. And you won't let people in. You won't let people into your heart because, see, you open yourself up too many times and people took it for granted. They didn't realize that you had your heart open at that time. So then you end up with a closed off heart, which doesn't, just make everybody else around you not understand, but you, yourself, you're closed off, so you don't get to feel happiness, love, stuff like that, because you're closed off. And you choose to take that risk of getting hurt, of opening yourself up. And I have a very difficult time doing so. That's why I have pain. Now, I'm going to hand the pen back to you, but I'm going to also start the video over so that it can be continued to be as part 2.
To be continued, people. Bye-bye.